All right, let's talk about the Renaissance. We're going to break down the recipe for one of the biggest transformations in all of history. What were the key ingredients that came together to create this, well, absolute explosion of art, ideas, and exploration? Let's get into it. First off, just look at this. I mean, what a change. On the left, you've got medieval art. It's flat, it's symbolic. The most important person in the picture is just the biggest one. But then on the right, you have Renaissance art. It's realistic, it's three-dimensional, it's like a window into a world that looks just like ours. So the big question is, what happened? What on earth allowed for such a fundamental shift in how we see and represent the world? Well, it all starts with our first ingredient, and it's all about vision. This wasn't a case of artists just magically getting better at drawing. Nope, it all started with a revolutionary new technology for seeing. And that is the absolute key. The whole goal changed. It went from showing spiritual importance to achieving physical accuracy. They didn't just want to symbolize reality anymore, they wanted to literally replicate it on a flat surface. So the technical tool that unlocked all of this was linear perspective. Around 1420, an architect named Filippo Brunelleschi did this brilliant demonstration in Florence. He painted the Florence baptistry on a panel, right? Then he drilled a tiny hole through it. By looking through that hole from behind at a mirror that was reflecting the painting, he created a perfect, mathematically precise illusion of 3D space. It was a total game changer. The engine driving this whole illusion is the vanishing point. It's this simple but totally elegant mathematical idea that parallel lines, like the sides of a road, they look like they meet at a single point in the distance. Once you get that concept, you can build an entire world that feels completely real. And you know what? This brilliant idea didn't stay some secret technique. In 1435, a guy named Leon Battista Alberti wrote it all down in a book called On Painting. He basically created the instruction manual for realism. He standardized the revolution, making this powerful tool available to artists everywhere. Okay, so you've got this new way of seeing, but how do you spread that idea and, countless others across an entire continent? Well, that brings us to our second, and you could argue most important ingredient, a machine that put ideas into overdrive. Just think about this for a second. Before Johannes Gutenberg's press, a single monk in a scriptorium might take an entire year to hand copy one Bible. Books were unbelievably rare and expensive. Gutenberg's machine? It could churn out 250 pages an hour. This wasn't just a small step up, it was a leap that changed the speed of information forever. And the result of that? It was explosive. By the year 1500, in less than 50 years, it's estimated that 8 million books had been printed in Europe. The world went from having just a few thousand precious manuscripts to being flooded with information. This had 3 massive, revolutionary effects. 1. Speed. Ideas could now spread like wildfire. Martin Luther's 95 Theses went viral across Germany in about 2 weeks. 2. Cost. Books suddenly became affordable, not just for kings and nobles, but for a whole new merchant class. And 3. Standardization. Every single copy was identical, creating for the first time a shared, stable body of knowledge. Now, this new confidence in observing and measuring the world, it wasn't just stuck in the artist's studio. Oh no, it spilled out onto the high seas, pushing navigators beyond the edge of the known map with a powerful new set of tools. I mean, you can't just sail off into the open ocean without some serious gear. You needed a whole new toolkit. The magnetic compass let you know your direction. The astrolabe helped you figure out your position. And a brand new kind of ship, the caravel, was agile enough to explore coastlines and, crucially, sail home against the wind. Together, these things gave sailors the confidence to finally leave the side of land. The astrolabe was especially critical. By measuring the height of the sun or the stars, a sailor could figure out their latitude, basically how far north or south they were. For the first time ever, you could actually know where you were in the middle of a vast, empty ocean. So, we've got these incredible new technologies for seeing, for spreading ideas, and for exploring. But, technology is just a pile of tools without the human element to drive it. So who were the people who actually mixed all these ingredients together? Well, the era cooked up this brand new ideal, the uomo universale, or the universal man. This was the belief that a single person could achieve excellence across a whole range of fields, from painting and sculpture to science and engineering. And, of course, the poster child for this is Leonardo da Vinci. For him, these interests weren't separate hobbies, they fed each other.
His scientific dissections of human bodies, that gave him an unmatched understanding of anatomy, which made his paintings way more lifelike. For Leonardo, art and science were really just two sides of the same coin, the quest to see the world accurately. But here's the thing, even a genius like Leonardo didn't work in a vacuum. Art was produced in organized workshops where masters trained apprentices in a very systematic way, and the whole operation was funded by wealthy patrons, like the famous Medici family. They commissioned all this art for a mix of reasons: religious devotion, civic pride, political power, and, of course, to make sure their own names would last forever.
So, let's recap the recipe. You take a new way of seeing, a new way to spread ideas, a new way to explore the globe, and a new ideal for what a human being can be. What do you get when you mix all of that together? Well, the final result, as this says, wasn't just a copy and paste of the past. The Renaissance wasn't just about rediscovering ancient Greece and Rome. It was a fusion. It combined those classical ideas with Christian faith and a brand new, powerful confidence in what humans could achieve through their own eyes and their own reason. It was something totally new. You can really see it as this incredible chain reaction. A new way of seeing leads to new ideas. A new way to spread those ideas makes them unstoppable. And that newfound confidence leads people to explore, and then ultimately to challenge the world around them, which leads directly to huge events like the Protestant Reformation. Each innovation just built on the last one. So, in the end, just a handful of interconnected innovations completely remade the world. And that leaves us with one last thought, doesn't it? The printing press gave ideas unstoppable power by putting them into the hands of many. We live in an age where billions of people carry a digital printing press around in their pockets. What happens then?